Today we're going to go through 3 active self-release techniques for the shoulder. Hi guys, Max Wardell, overheadathletics.com. Today we're coming at you with a new video where we're going to go over 3 active self-release techniques for the shoulder. These techniques are just going to be utilizing a ball of some sort, so you make sure you have that, a wall in the ground. Nothing more than that, and then movement of your arm to really create that release where you can target different parts of the tissue and really get a little bit of a massage going for yourself. This is something that a lot of people have asked us about, and we've done a video before with some manual active release techniques that was very successful. So I just want to go over a few that can really help your shoulder feel better and move a little better at the same time. So for technique number 1, I'm just using a baseball here. You can use a lacrosse ball, that's what we typically use, or we'll even use a tennis ball, something softer. Sometimes a hard ball or a lacrosse ball is too dense and too hard, but depends on how your tissue reacts and how you kind of feel. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just go right below the bone here on your shoulder blade. Everyone can feel that bone right there, which is part of your scapula. You're going to go right below that bone. You don't want to sit on the bone, it's not comfortable, but right below the bone, you're still on top of your shoulder blade, but there's 2 muscles there, the infraspinatus and the teres minor, which are part of the rotator cuff, and then other muscles also attached to the edges of the scapula around there, but we want to sit on top of the scapula for this one. So I'm just below the bone, I've got it pinned, and I'm going to kind of sit there for just a second, and then to incorporate the active part of the active release, I'm going to bring it across. I don't want to put too much pressure through, and I'm going to kind of do this. Now, obviously, can't do the same thing I can do with a therapist here, but I'm taking the arm across, which takes the muscle through a little bit of lengthening as I pin it and stretch it. So this is a constant pin on it. And then you can retest your before versus your after when you do that a little bit, and then you come across, and do you get a little farther? Does it feel a little different? So just by sitting with that ball of whatever sort that you choose against that muscle belly, so I want it on the scapula, and I'll show you right here where I want it, but I'm going to pull across. And I'm stretching it by using my muscles on the opposing side. I'm also using those muscles to pull back a little bit. And I can even incorporate something like this. So this is a little advanced variation. You don't want to go through too big of a range of motion. I'm just doing something like this. You know, generally we'll release the pressure as we go through different things, especially if we're doing different types of massage that we'll use in a clinical scenario. But for something like this, it's not necessarily possible. And incorporating a little bit of action of that muscle and then a stretch of that muscle is going to be your most beneficial tool. So we just did the posterior side. It's kind of hard to do the supraspinatus really well, especially by yourself, but we did the infraspinatus and teres minor, which are 2 of those rotator cuff muscles that sit right on the scapula. Now we're going to go ahead and actually target the pec muscle. So I'm going to take this ball, I'm going to roll through the belly of the pec. I don't want to come too far towards the center of my chest, and I don't want to come too far up towards the clavicle or collarbone there. I want to sit in the muscle belly, and I also don't want to sit on the front of the shoulder. So these are all done in the muscle belly. I'm going to come against the wall. I'm going to put it against the front of my pec, and I'm going to actually roll. I can roll side to side, but then to incorporate the active component, I can do it isometric into the wall here. So I can push into the wall. That's going to really target all of the fibers. I can go lower to target the upper fibers, and I can go higher to target the lower fibers, and I can change the position of the ball, which will allow me to target different areas of the muscle. Typically, right here that I can grab. This is going to be the area you're going to want to target the most, where it's going to get tight, and then you're going to come into here where you actually have your pec minor that sits below your big pec muscle, and that one gets really tight and can cause that forward posture. So getting in there with a ball and then incorporating something like this, and then if you want to hit the pec minor, I can actually even drop my arm down here, or I can still keep it here, and I'm going to kind of shrug up and forward and then pull down and back with my shoulder blade. So shrug up and forward, pull down and back, and kind of giving yourself a self-massage on that pectoral region. So for the next one, we're going to go take you to the ground, and we're going to go over a little lat teres major variation on this side of the body, which gets really, really tight in throwers because they're pulling down, and it's one of our primary accelerators and resistors of external rotation. So we're going to go to the ground and show you that one next. So I'm actually down here on the ground now, and I'm going to go through that lat muscle and then some of the structures surrounding there, the teres major especially, as I go next to the scapula. So I'm just going to go down here. I'm going to sit with it right, here's my armpit. It's going to go, there's my shoulder. I'm going to go right below that where all that muscle bulk is. And I'm just going to kind of sit in there for a second. Now I can incorporate an isometric contraction of the ground. So I'm going to push and release, sink deeper into the ball. Every time I'm doing these, I'm sinking deeper. Like push into the ground and I release. Now I can incorporate some lengthening where I use the bicep and the deltoid to lift my arm, and then push down, sink. So you got to find what's better for you, the lengthening and then relaxing, or the contraction of that muscle and relaxing. Doing it all actively. And then I've sunk down there. It's pretty tight there. I can actually find another spot. Sink down there, push into the ground. So I'm adducting with my arm, extending. That's how I activate those muscles. There's other ways I could do it too. Once I feel it melt into it, this one, you got to be careful as you get farther down, closer to the rib cage where the muscle belly gets thinner. But these three right here are going to be great techniques that you can utilize to really target those tissues, because they can get tight and you don't always have access to a trainer or a manual therapist or a physical therapist that can really take care of some of that residual high tone tightness or soreness for you. So finding a way to do it with a ball like this, or even a softer ball, especially when you start out, is going to be very beneficial. Thanks for watching today, guys. If you haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button below, like this video with the thumbs up button, and comment if you feel like you have a question, comment, anything like that. We'd love to hear from you guys, but we'd also love you to subscribe, because that way you can continue to see our content that we're posting every week and you're not going to miss any of it. So hit the subscribe button. Check out our website, overheadathletics.com. If you're looking for a program that's put together the corrective exercise components that are going to, number one, strengthen your muscles in the way they need to be strengthened and perform, and acquire the mobility that's necessary to perform in a rotational sport like you want to perform. So check out that program, and check out our phase-specific throwing program, where we break down the biomechanical aspects of the throw so that you can go phase by phase through your throwing motion and sequentially improve how you throw and how you recruit your throwing velocity. So check that out at overheadathletics.com. The link is going to be in the description.